Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another live stream. Lara from Complete Test Success here. Today we're doing a task 2 live stream. So I haven't done one of these in a while. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a task 2 question with you on screen, get you to give me what ideas you would use and how you would develop your answer. But it's a little bit different than normal because on Sunday, I posted a task 2 question and I asked you to post your answer to that to enter a competition, and I would give you a full essay correction. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at that same question with you today. So we'll be able to get all your ideas and your development right here, and then you'll be able to enter that competition. And then one lucky winner will have a full essay correction. If you're not already familiar with my lessons, I'm going to share some task 2 videos with you here in the comments. So you'll see here, either you're on YouTube or Facebook. So just check in the comments and you'll see a complete guide to task 2. So those are basically lessons on how task 2 is corrected, how to meet the criteria for each band score, how to improve each of those scores, how to construct your answer, what to include in your answer. So take a look at those. I know a lot of you are already familiar with them. Rihad, hello to you. Nitesh, good morning. It's afternoon where I am, but nevertheless, welcome here. Christian, good afternoon from the Philippines. Great to see you. Keep safe always. God bless you. Thanks, Christian. Okay, so that's basically it. I'm going to show you a question and I'm going to give you a task. So, like I said, it's the same question for the competition. So I'm going to focus less on your vocab and grammar, and I want to focus more on how you would answer the question. So my first task for you is to say, how many main ideas should you put in your answer to this question? So how many main ideas would you use here? Hi, Sajad. Okay, so how many main ideas for that question on screen? Hi, Nitesh. Welcome to the lesson. And Arzu, good to see you here. Arzu says 2 ideas. Exactly. Yeah. So to what extent do you agree or disagree? You're either going to say, I completely agree, and then give 2 reasons why you agree, or you're going to say, I completely disagree, and then give 2 reasons why that is the case. Hey, Janice. Hello to you. Okay, so from there, what we want to do is we want to determine what ideas will we use. So you're going to generate ideas as to why, not necessarily why you agree or why you disagree, but just why somebody would agree or disagree. It doesn't have to be your real opinion. That's not important. What is important is that you can support the opinion. So you're going to say, I agree, if you can think of 2 reasons, 2 appropriate reasons for agreeing, or you're going to say, I disagree, if you can think of 2 appropriate reasons for disagreeing. So that's the easiest way to do. As soon as you have 2 ideas for either side, just say that that's what your opinion is. So what I want you to do is I want you to say what main ideas we can use, but not just that, but say, do you agree or do you disagree, and what 2 ideas would you use to support that? So I can see if your ideas do in fact support what you're saying your opinion is. So that is the task for you now. What main ideas can we use for the question on screen? Hi, Beckett. Morning to you. So, Beckett, what main ideas can we use in our answer to this question? And remember, there are really only two requirements for your main idea. Your idea needs to be relevant, as in it needs to be about the question, and it needs to be specific. So you cannot use a vague idea. It has to be specific. So an example of a typical example of a vague idea is when a student says, or a candidate says that, it would be better, or it would be more convenient. That those things are not specific. So that's what you need to keep in mind. Two ideas, they need to be specific and relevant. Hey, Decky, good to see you again. Okay, so the whole purpose of this live stream is for me to give you feedback on your ideas. This is a very important requirement for your task achievement score, because if you come up with ideas that are irrelevant or that are too vague, your task achievement score will not be good. So the whole purpose is for me to give you feedback to help you with that side of it. So do get involved, do share what ideas you have. Same here, good. Arzu, people must follow traffic rules appropriately. Two, no laws can stop people meeting accidents until and unless they are driving carefully. That first idea, people must follow traffic rules appropriately, is not relevant. So that first idea is irrelevant. So therefore, we cannot use that. The second one, no laws can stop people meeting accidents until and unless they're driving carefully. That's the wording is a little bit unclear on that, Arzu. So your first one, people must follow traffic rules appropriately. That is a recommendation, but it doesn't clearly respond to the question. So what you have to agree or disagree with is the second question in the second sentence in the question. So the first rule, the first sentence is just like setting up the context, describing the situation so that you understand what the question is about. So around the world, traffic accidents cause many serious injuries every day. Okay, so that's the context. This is a fact. This isn't, you can't agree or disagree with this. This isn't an opinion. You cannot agree or disagree with a fact. So that's just a fact to help you understand it. Because of this fact, due to this, some people believe stricter laws are necessary to improve road safety. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So you're being asked to agree or disagree with this opinion that some people believe stricter laws are necessary to improve road safety. So, in essence, if you're saying I agree, you're saying I agree that stricter laws are necessary to improve road safety. Or if you're disagreeing, you're saying I do not believe that stricter laws are necessary to improve road safety. So, with that in mind, to say that people must people must follow the traffic rules appropriately, that's not saying whether stricter laws are necessary to improve road safety or not. So the first thing you need to be very clear on is what the question is asking you to agree or disagree with. And sometimes it's easier to just make it into a sentence like that. So what are you agreeing with? I agree that stricter laws are necessary to improve road safety, or I disagree that stricter laws are necessary to improve road safety. So make sure you're clear on what you're actually agreeing or disagreeing with. And the second one, if you could rephrase that, Arzu, I'm not sure, but you're saying no laws can stop people meeting accidents. So no laws. So you're saying stricter laws would not stop people from having accidents until and unless they're driving carefully. But the thing is, what's going to make them drive carefully? I don't understand the connection between laws not helping and when they will stop having accidents. So those, I don't see the connection between those points in the second idea. The RSTA must not issue driving licenses without a well-supervised driving test. So again, this is not about whether stricter laws are necessary or not. This is a recommendation. This is what you think people should do. So what you're saying, if you're saying you agree, you have to explain how stricter laws will improve road safety. And if you're disagreeing, you have to say how stricter laws will not improve road safety. So that's what you're saying. So that, again, this doesn't respond. Typically, higher traffic fines. So this would be a potential stricter law, but it's not saying how that would work. Mental health assessments should be more serious. So again, you're describing what the stricter laws are, but what I need to know is how would the stricter laws work? So again, those aren't appropriate. It helps to reduce the number of serious injuries if strict rules would be implemented. This is too vague. This is relevant, but it's too vague. I don't know why it would reduce the number of serious injuries. And that's what we want. We're saying stricter laws are necessary to improve road safety. So yes, we want to know how will stricter laws result in a reduced number of serious injuries. So you need to tell me how will that happen, or why will, like, the main idea why you think that would be the outcome. Mafusa, first reason, strict enforcement actions to be taken, but that's the suggestion. That's not why the suggestion will work. Second reason, educating people of the causes and effects of accidents. So that would be, you're saying educating people would be more effective. Okay. So you need to state clearly how they would be more effective. Okay, so it seems like this question is a bit confusing for some of you. So let's look at it. Like, you're saying this. Stricter laws will improve road safety because that. So it's going to be your main idea. So that if you're agreeing, this is what you're saying. Or if you're disagreeing, you're saying stricter laws will not improve road safety because. So why will stricter laws have that impact? How will stricter laws bring about that change? Or how will stricter laws not bring about that change? So think about, in the real world, what's happening when we have stricter laws. What influence does that have on people? So you're either saying it will not stop them from driving dangerously because A and B, or it will stop them from driving dangerously because whatever two reasons you can think of. So far, it seems like your question analysis has been the main issue, that you're not reading the question carefully enough. You're not really understanding what it is you're agreeing or disagreeing with, and therefore your main ideas aren't appropriate. So that's why when I'm saying when you're generating your main ideas, it has to be, are they relevant? as in, are they about what the question asked you to talk about? In which case we're talking about stricter laws will improve road safety because, or stricter laws will not improve road safety because. So it seems like question analysis is a kind of a common issue here so far. Okay. Okay, we looked at that one already. Arshad, I consider yes. So that's not clear. To say I agree and I consider yes, those aren't accurate synonyms. So I agree because, one, by conducting strict laws of to some extent, up to some extent, not of, we can minimize the road accident and injuries, financial losses too. No, that's the outcome. So the question says, okay, so here it is. Let's say I'm the person in the question. I think that stricter laws will reduce traffic accidents. And you said, I agree, traffic laws will reduce traffic accidents and injuries. But why? Why are you agreeing? So it's not enough to just repeat the concept as you've done here. You can't just repeat what the question says. You have to say why you think that. So this doesn't work. Number two, by implementing strict laws, the things will be in order, means everything will be in proper way and all will be civilized. Why? So again, you can't just describe the outcome. Of course, the outcome we want is fewer road accidents, fewer injuries. But what's the connection? So let's say in my country, we introduce stricter laws, and because of that, there are fewer accidents. But why? Why? How did the stricter laws influence the people to change the way that they're driving? So if you're agreeing, that's what you're saying. How did these stricter laws change people's behavior? Or if you're disagreeing, you're saying, why will these stricter laws not change people's behavior? So again, and it seems to be a tricky question for you guys. I don't know. I think most of you don't understand the question, but not necessarily. But again, these ideas, you're more focusing on the outcome, not explaining how that outcome, or thinking of reasons why that outcome will happen. People will drive their vehicles due to fear of punishment, reducing dangerous incidents and safety of public from accident. Okay, number one, you're getting close, but it's more of a language issue here, Prakash. You're not stating it clearly enough. So people will drive their vehicles more carefully. That's what you want. So it's not that they'll drive their vehicles, they're already driving their vehicles. So they'll drive their vehicles more carefully due to fear of punishment. And that's the main idea. Okay. So that's the first one that we've had. So let me just put this in here because will be so that's the first one we've had. That's appropriate. Good. Your second idea, reduce in dangerous incident and safety of public from accident. So again, that's focusing on the outcome. So you can't tell me, you can't just describe the desired outcome. That's not an explanation. You're just jumping from the cause to the effect, not explaining how the cause leads to the effect, results in the effect. So you need to be more careful with that. Queen Maureen, people then to obey laws when then the punishments are harsher. But again, why are they obeying the laws? So that concept is already in the question. So the question says, some people believe stricter laws are necessary to improve road safety. So that's the concept. So you cannot use that. You cannot reword that as a main idea. It has to be a reason why that happens. So when you say people then obey the laws when the punishments are harsher, well, that's what we expect to happen, but not an explanation of why that happens. So I believe that insisting on instilling punishment when laws are broken will make people obey the laws. But again, why are they obeying the laws? How is that influencing their behavior? So you're not really getting down to the core of that idea yet. Preeti, agree because one, without laws, people drive carelessly. So the question isn't about laws, it's about stricter laws. So there are already laws in place. So it's not that we're not comparing some laws with no laws. We're comparing the current laws with stricter laws. So to make the punishments more strict, to make the laws more strict. These rules make people follow rules on the road. Again, why does that happen? Why? That's the idea, is that it will improve road safety because people are driving more carefully. But why are they going to drive more carefully? Arzu, stricter laws cannot help in reducing accidents, as it is the responsibility of people that they must fulfill their obligations and drive carefully on the road, even if they're in a rush. But no, that's not relevant either, because you're not talking about the current situation. Traffic accidents cause many serious injuries every day. So this is what's currently happening, that the traffic accidents are already happening because people are not fulfilling their obligation and they're not driving carefully on the road even though they're in a rush. So those are like possibly reasons why there are accidents, but not reasons why we should or should not have stricter laws. So that's those ideas. They're not focused on what you've been asked to talk about. Decky, people will drive cautiously. So there you are talking about the outcome, not how we get to that point. So if I introduce stricter laws, I introduce them because I want people to drive more cautiously. So this is the action I take. This is the outcome that I desire. But how does that action create the desire that I want? Niamatullah, hello to you. Welcome. Tota, I totally agree because people will be frightened of the fines. Good. As a result, they do not use their mobiles or drink drive during driving cars. Okay. So Tota, that is correct. That's just one idea. So you're saying that people won't do it because they're afraid, and what they won't do because they're afraid. But you need two ideas. So yes, that is appropriate. But if we look at the idea we had from earlier, the one I already put on screen, people will drive more carefully because of their fear of being punished. So we already had that idea that they're afraid. They're afraid of being punished because the punishments are so severe. So yeah, appropriate, but we still need one more. Hi, Kamika. I do not agree that stricter laws alone will limit accidents. Good. But awareness is more important, especially with regard to human life. No. Because you're not saying why stricter laws aren't necessary. Awareness is more important. No. So again, that's not relevant. Your opinion is very clear, but remember, when it says to what extent, you need to say, I completely disagree. So not just I do not agree, you have to say the extent to which. So I completely disagree. Make sure that you have that in as well. But also, you've only one idea and your idea isn't relevant. So you need two relevant ideas. Those ideas also need to be specific. I agree because it would serve as a deterrent for people that are not good in driving to use caution while driving their cars without due diligence to use road safety rules. So no, again, you're not describing the reason why that's happening. You're just describing the outcome. You're just describing the outcome. So, I mean, the problem could be the fact that it's too obvious. But just think, like the one idea we already had was there are laws introduced. So just put it on an individual level. Don't try to think globally of everybody in your country. Just think about yourself. Let's say there's a very, very strict law. Let's say very strict, like you go to jail for 10 years if you break the speed limit. Well, I'm afraid if I got a fine, like a small fine, I would not be as afraid of 10 years in jail. So a stricter law, of course, I'll be afraid. I'll be more careful because of my fear of those laws. So that's the obvious outcome is I'm afraid of those. So what other reason would I have for driving more carefully? So we only have one idea so far, but you can't just say we should do them because they will work. You need to explain why will they work or how will they work. So not just saying the outcome is we will have safer roads. That's why we want to introduce these laws. So you cannot say we should introduce these laws to reduce accidents because they will reduce accidents, which is essentially what a lot of you are saying. But you cannot just say it will reduce accidents as the reason why it will reduce accidents. You have to say what is happening in the minds of the drivers, such as they have more fear and therefore they drive more carefully. So that's what you need to consider. That's what you need to consider. And it could be you disagree and reasons why you think more strict laws won't work. It might be 2 reasons why they won't work. That might be easier to go from that side. But you cannot just state the outcome as your reason. To participate. Okay, you can watch the recording anyway. Good to see you again anyway, either way. Hi, Bincy. Okay, Queen Maureen. Stricter laws instill fear in people knowing the consequences of breaking such laws. Okay, so the fear, good. People will tend to be more careful with stricter laws. So again, that's the outcome. It's not another reason. So the fear will change people's behavior. But again, that's the same idea we had. Again, this is the outcome, not the reason why that outcome will occur. So just while we're talking about, like, we've looked at a lot of ideas so far, and with everybody's ideas together, we have one idea for agreeing and no ideas for disagreeing. So currently, we're sitting at a band 5 for task achievement. Collectively, all of us together, with all of our ideas together, we have not gone beyond a band 5 for task achievement. So you can see how important it is to get this right. I mean, most of my students are aiming for 7 and higher, band 7 and higher in writing. And if you can't get 2 ideas for your essay, that's the end of your test straight away. You're not getting a band 7 if you come in with one main idea. You need that second main idea, and we haven't even developed it yet. So at the moment, we're standing at a band 5, which is worrisome, to say the least. Okay. Stricter laws lead people to become more obedient because they are afraid of the consequences of the laws. For example, they can be put in jail or fines for committing traffic rules. Okay, good. It's relevant and it's specific, but it's also the same main idea that we already had here. So it is appropriate, but it doesn't help. Like, collectively, all of us here right now, we are still on a band 5 for task achievement. Completely agree. Stricter laws prevents people from having accidents on the road. So again, that's the outcome, not the reason why we have that outcome. So that's not appropriate. Number 2, people believe that laws could help people to become disciplined, resulting in fewer injuries. Again, you're still describing the desired outcome. So we want to reduce the number of accidents, so we're going to introduce stricter laws. So I want to know, why will that or will that not work? Why will it work or why won't it work? So you can't say it will work because it will reduce accidents, but I want to know, why will it reduce accidents? So describing that it will reduce accidents is just repeating what the question is about, not why it would work. Hello there from Thailand. Good to see you here. Okay, so before I look at the next one, everybody's trying to say that they agree, but oftentimes, and you see this quite a lot, when and this is why I said at the start of the lesson, don't just 100% try to think of reasons why you feel the way you feel. Try to develop your ideas, try to generate ideas based on why somebody would have that opinion. So even if you agree that stricter laws would help, why would somebody just think, why would somebody disagree? Why would somebody think that stricter laws will not help? And maybe you'll be able to think of two ideas for disagreeing more easily than two ideas for agreeing. So you have those two options, and don't limit yourself to one side. Allow yourself to at least consider the other side. Maybe the ideas will come to you more easily. So don't restrict the options that you have. Okay, Mafusa, I'm going to look at yours in a moment, but before I do, let me just share another link with you. So I have a bunch of resources on my website. I have free live feedback lessons on Zoom. So those are weekly lessons for my subscribers on Zoom. I cover reading, writing, listening, speaking, and then I have a general Q&A as well. So if you want more support with me, you can sign up for those here. I also have essay corrections and practice speaking tests. You can also find those with the same link. And I have writing and speaking courses. Those are full at the moment, but you can join the waiting list there. So all of those resources, if you need more help, and frankly speaking, most of you do need more support. Like this is the very, very first step towards getting your scores, is being able to develop your ideas. And if collectively there are about 40 of us here and we can't get beyond one idea, that does indicate that this is a concern. Okay, so Mafusa, let's have a look. I fully disagree. Okay, so you've gone the other side. That's good. So this might be easier. I fully disagree because road safety could be improved by creating awareness among motorists and pedestrians while strictly enforcing the existing laws and regulations. Okay, so let me just think about that. You're saying stricter laws will not improve road safety because creating awareness among motorists and pedestrians will be more beneficial. So you're saying the real problem isn't the laws, the real problem isn't how strict the laws are. The real problem is that people aren't aware that they should drive carefully. So people aren't aware that driving dangerously is a problem. So we just need to make people more aware, and that is the solution, not more strict laws. Okay, it's relevant and it's specific. It's not going to be very easy to explain because you have to say how. No, it's okay. It's okay. No, that idea is good. Strictly enforcing the existing laws and regulations. So your other main idea is, instead of making the laws more strict, we need to enforce them more strictly. So not that the laws are strict, but that they're enforced more strictly. That also makes sense. Good job. So let me just type those in. Stricter laws will not improve road safety because the real issue is a lack of awareness of the dangers of driving, and it would be more beneficial to enforce the current laws, the existing laws, more strictly. All right, I've changed the wording because it just makes it a bit clearer what our response is, but that's good. Okay, so what you can see there is we now have ideas that are appropriate. We now have ideas that we can use, so that's great. And like I was saying earlier on, sometimes you just might be struggling for two ideas for agreeing. See if you can think of ideas for disagreeing. That can often be the solution. So don't limit yourself. Okay, so I'm going to stick with Mahfouz's ideas here because they're the only ideas we have that are appropriate so far. We cannot continue with the agree side because we only have one idea. So we'll have to go with the disagree side because we have two ideas. So my next task for you, sorry, let me just get this up, is how can we develop this idea? So by this idea, I mean the first one. Let me just get this back up on screen a bit more clearly. The real issue is a lack of awareness of the dangers of driving. Okay. So how can we develop that idea? So that's the new task for you. Don't worry about more main ideas. We've covered that. Once you have two main ideas, we're ready to move forward. So how can we develop the idea that the real issue is a lack of awareness of the dangers of driving? So you need to either explain that or give an example of that. That's how you're going to develop it. So currently we're on a band 6 for task achievement. We have our two ideas. Our ideas are relevant and specific. Now we want a band 7. So we're going to develop these ideas. How are we going to develop those ideas? Okay, Queen Maureen, strict laws will instill fear in people, and the consequences of breaking such laws will make them have no option but to obey. I think that's the same idea. They'll be afraid of the consequences, and the consequences will make them obey. I think that's this. No, that is the same thing. I totally agree. It will go a long way to reduce accidents in countries. So again, that's still just repeating the outcome. So it's still the same idea we had from before, that fear will work. So you've basically just written that idea in two ways. You haven't thought up of a second idea. You've just repeated the same first idea in different words, and that's not appropriate either. This is human behavior. They only follow rules when they're strict, otherwise they ignore them. Yeah, that works. But that again would be very similar to the fear. So why are they only following strict ones? So if we use that and the idea of fear as our two ideas, when we go to explain them, that would be, the explanation would be pretty much the same. So you need to have two distinctly different ideas for your essay. You can't just have two ideas that are so similar that the development, the explanation, the examples will be too similar. Sharafat, people cannot bear stricter laws because we have to count high fine into hard rules, which might be intolerable. Okay, so you're saying stricter laws will work because people cannot afford to pay the fines. Good, that works. Sir, what about my point number 2? Was it relevant and good or not? Arshad. Did I not comment on that already? By implementing strict laws, that things will be in order means everything will be in a proper way and all will be civilized. No, it's the same issue. You're just describing the outcome. Okay. Felix from Kenya, your exam is on Thursday the 7th. Good. Best of luck with that, Felix. I strongly agree stricter laws are necessary to prevent road accidents, like confiscating driver's license when they commit road violations. But no, that's just an example of a strict law. That's not a reason why the stricter laws will work. So why will taking people's driver licenses away make them drive more carefully? That's what you need to say. So that's not relevant. So hi, hello to you. Yeah, so that again, correct, but that's still the same idea. Queen Maureen, I totally disagree that stricter laws will make people more tense. I totally disagree that stricter laws will make people more tense on the road and increase the possibility of having accidents. No, so I completely disagree because stricter laws will make people more tense on the road and increase the possibility of having accidents. Stricter laws will also cause confusion for new drivers and foreigners, which will lead to more accidents. Good. Yeah, so you're given reasons why it won't work. Good, good. It's not clear. You needed to use the word because instead of that, but the ideas are good. Clemencia. Stricter laws would benefit road safety, but defensive driver from the beginning, as well as recurrent classes to enhance reaction time, as well as teaching drivers how to react. No, you can't talk about the topic in general. So it's not like, what are your suggestions on improving road safety? Yeah, that's not what you've been asked. So even though you're talking kind of loosely about the topic, you're not discussing what you've been asked to discuss, which is, will stricter laws work or will stricter laws not work? Those are your options. You cannot go outside of those two. You've been given a very specific thing to talk about in the question, and unless you talk about that specific thing, you're not getting a good task achievement score. It's as simple as that. So no, these ideas aren't appropriate. They're not relevant. Anna, disagree. People should be disciplined enough to know the proper rules and regulations before driving. They should be, but look at that first sentence. Around the world, traffic accidents cause many serious injuries every day. So they should be, but they're not. So that, again, isn't relevant. What you've said isn't related to the question, because it's not what the question has communicated. Number two, when human beings are not properly trained upon driving, there won't be any difference, even though strict laws are implemented. Okay, that's good. That makes sense. So the source of the problem is poor training when people are learning to drive, and therefore stricter laws are not going to change the fact that people have not learned to drive effectively. That's good. That makes sense. I fully agree that making laws more strict will deter road users to be more keen. But then we need the reasons why you feel that way. So your opinion is clear, but your reasons for your opinion are not. And again, that will not get you a good score. Okay, so that's the same one again. I completely disagree, because public also responsible for accidents. They also broke the rules and regulations of traffic, and they did not use zebra crossings. No. So you're saying, so what we're saying is that stricter laws won't work because people break the law, the rules. No, it doesn't make sense. So if they're already breaking the rules And then we have more strict rules, and they will continue to break those rules. So you're saying it won't work because people will continue to break the rules. But why will they continue to break the rules? Why are these stricter laws not having an influence on their behavior? So no, that's not appropriate either. Hello there. Okay, I totally disagree because I believe that introducing laws does not change people's attitude and behavior. Good. Introducing stricter laws, not just introducing laws, but introducing stricter laws does not change people's attitudes or behavior. Good. Yeah, that works. What you need to be careful though is, what I would worry about is that might be a vague idea. So it does not change people's attitude and behavior. As long as you have an explanation why that doesn't happen, rather than a list of ideas like it doesn't happen because A, B, C, and D, that would be an issue. But if you can explain like the psychology behind it, or give an example of it not happening, that would be fine. So no, that looks good, but as long as your explanation is also appropriate. But yeah, that's good. Felix, so on this side type of essay, if we agree in both the body paragraphs or we disagree in the second body paragraph, you agree in both or you disagree in both, whichever way you say. So if you say you agree, you give 2 reasons why you agree. If you say you disagree, you give 2 reasons why you disagree. Stricter laws will make drivers law-abiding and they won't try to break the law and get the fine. Okay, but that's the desired outcome. How does that create? How do stricter laws create that outcome? I've shared my. Yeah, no. That's I'm gonna pull that up on Thursday. So the essay competition is for Thursday. And that's something I wanted to say. So this same question, I'm gonna correct somebody's full response. Right now, I'm just helping you with the ideas. But on Thursday, I'll take one person's full essay correction. One person's full essay and give them a full essay correction. So check all their task achievement, coherence, cohesion, vocab, grammar. So hopefully, based on this lesson, task achievement will be pretty good. And then obviously, there will be other areas that I can help with. But those are the main things. Just one moment now. So that's the main issue at the moment, is your ideas. Only one person has had 2 main ideas that were appropriate. Mafuza, just going back to your comment, you shared your essay in the comments wondering why an answer wasn't picked up to be analyzed today. Yeah, so that will be on Thursday. Anybody who has not already entered the competition, go to my post in Facebook from Sunday. So just go to my Facebook page, you'll find it there. Or on YouTube, go to the community tab in my YouTube channel, and you'll find a post there. And you can write a full response to this and potentially win a full essay correction for that. Chido, I'm new to learning. Next, I'll be ready to participate. No problem. Good to see you here. Okay, Preeti, I completely disagree because rules are not only the reason for causing accidents on roads, but other things like poor road infrastructure should be improved. Good, which will help to reduce accidents. Good. So that's again one idea. Good. So like I said, we need 2. We need 2 ideas. You've provided 1. But yeah, that is appropriate idea. So that's good. Stricter laws will determine people to be more conscious about the consequences of their actions. Why will they be more conscientious? Why will they be more conscientious? So you need to say why that will happen. So again, you can't just explain the outcome. You need to say how that outcome will come about. Secondly, the tough regulations will gain the local authority taxes through the fines from the offenders. This because they will be taken to court to answer the cases, hence being slapped with heavy charges. Taxes have nothing to do with this. So if I'm being fined, it's less likely I care where the money is going. It's the fact that it's being taken away from me. That's the the problem with the fine is that I'm losing my money for breaking the law. So what happens with that money afterwards isn't really a consequence and not relevant to the question. Traffic rules and regulations are very important to enable the safety and convenience of the public and to prevent damages and casualties among individuals, road users. You're just talking, Sadaf, you're just talking in general about traffic laws. You're not talking about what the question asked you to talk about. So again, that wouldn't be appropriate. Excellent, Felix. Good to hear it. Okay, so that is the last comment. There's genuinely just a concern based on this. I used to see much better responses in these live streams where people understood what an appropriate idea was, and generally we would get very far through an essay. We'd get pretty much to the end of an essay in an hour during these live streams. So it's a little bit worrisome that so many of you are stuck on those first two ideas. And it's really important you get them right. Like I said, you have to get them right. But basically, if you didn't send me any relevant ideas, you're looking at like a band 4 for task achievement. Some of you had 1, you're looking at a band 5. One of you had 2. You're looking at a band 6. And then this second task, the one written here, how can we develop this idea? Nobody even touched off of that task. Nobody considered how they would develop the idea. So even after 52 minutes of looking at this question, we are still stuck at band 6 for task achievement. Now, you could potentially get a higher score for coherence and cohesion, vocab, grammar, but to get a band 7, you're going to have to get 8 in all of those, I believe. Let me check my calculator in case that math is wrong. No, that was wrong. You'd have to get an 8 in 2 and a 7 in 1. But you're making it so much difficult for yourself to get a band 7. So I'm assuming, if you need a band 7, based on our responses today, that would be quite difficult. It'd be very difficult, actually. Okay, well, I have 2 more comments here from Anna and Ali, and then we'll wrap it up for today. Anna, disagree. Drivers who are poorly trained do not make any difference when implementing of strict laws. Good. It depends on the attitude or behavior of newly trained drivers when dealing with the traffic laws. That's kind of the same idea, isn't it? That's the same idea twice. Ali, I agree. Stricter laws limit accidents if the penalties are severe, such as withdrawing driver's license or imprisonment instead of paying money, because the rich do not care about it. Why? So again, you're just saying what laws we could use, what those stricter punishments could be, but not why those stricter punishments would work. So again, that's not appropriate. Big B. Hello, Big B. The real issue is the lack of awareness. Those who do not experience the effects of accidents tend to overlook the laws. As a result, they may take the accidents for granted in order to reach the destination on time. Okay, so that would be your main idea, would be lack of awareness. Okay. And that's a response to the question, to the main idea that we had highlighted here. So Big B is the first person to try and push our score up to a 7. The real issue is a lack of awareness of the dangers of driving. So this would be the development. The real issue is the lack of awareness. Those who do not experience the effects of accidents tend to overlook the laws. As a result, they may take the accidents for granted in order to reach the destination and time. Your first sentence looks good. So you're talking about people don't know the consequences of dangerous driving, and therefore they don't understand why the laws are in place or important. The second sentence, it's this phrasing, it's more your language. Take the accidents for granted. That doesn't really communicate anything. So the second sentence is unclear because of your language ability. But the first sentence is a good start for sure. Okay, that is it for this live stream. If any of you need my support, you can reach out. There's my email address, lar@completetestsuccess.com. If you need anything, let me know. And as I said, we have that same question for the essay correction competition on Thursday. So go to my post on Sunday, either on YouTube or on Facebook. Write your full response to that question, and you should have a very good idea of at least what main ideas will be appropriate at this point. So if you've completed this lesson with me, I would expect at least a band 6 or higher in task achievement. So get that in by the end of tomorrow so that you can enter the draw on Thursday. And then on Thursday, I'll have another live stream with a full essay correction based on that same question. Okay, so besides that, take care of yourselves. Until next time, best of luck at the IELTS test if you're taking it between now and then. Okay, see you everyone.